אותי! קצין משטרה חונק אותי, נראה לך הגיוני?
عدت خلني سعدي عفت اليوم معاست عموني نبراري عفت اليوم معاست عموني نبراجي عفت اليوم معاست عموني ارتر عديا عدت خلني عديا عديا مسافة حسني نابرا سدت العمود ثم واقتلني نافقت فرجعني فطار حق زني عدي بدسني عديا عديتي إلي عديا عديا
Under the earth, I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitter is gold. Half the story had never been told, and now you see the light. You stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. You get up, stand up.
أبرار يا دعمون صم وقتلني نافقت فرتعني فدار حق زني عدي بلشني عدي والتي إلي ارتر عدي عدي والتي إلي أتعظم عريدك عدي ولا لا معري ولا لا معري أتنعم بعريدك عدي ولا لا معري ولا لا معري سي 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 أتنعم بعريدك يا ري ولا لا معري ولا لا معري سي 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 أتنعم بعريدك عدي ولا لا معري ولا لا معري سي 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 سي
So we're here in South Tel Aviv, and for the second time in 2 weeks, a group of about 2,000 or so African asylum seekers are preparing to march through central Tel Aviv, where they are demanding that the government review their asylum requests and end the procedure of jailing them in the so-called open detention facility, Cholot, in southern Israel. Unlike many previous protests on this issue, the crowd is predominantly African asylum seekers. There are some Israeli supporters. However, you see, I would say well over 90% of the crowd are actually African asylum seekers. So they plan on marching through the city and repeating their call for the government to hear their asylum requests, which is something that for years the overwhelming majority of these people have not had their requests heard by the government. And they're also calling for the end of the anti-infiltration amendment that allows the government to jail them without trial in the detention facility.
وليت العلي وليت العلي عاقل مسرح
And just in general, demanding some sort of change to Israel's policy towards African migrants. We've seen a number of protests in the past in Israel over the past few years involving this issue, but I don't remember really seeing crowds this large of African asylum seekers. There's easily, I would say, looks like around 2,000 or so. Usually you would have smaller numbers and it would be a higher percentage of Israeli supporters and whatnot. So I don't know if that means something new or potentially a new sort of wave of protests, but it looks like a different crowd than what we had seen in the past.
On Saturday, December 21st, an unprecedented demonstration took place in Tel Aviv when thousands of African asylum seekers marched through the city.
Freedom! 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 Freedom!
לאדוני ראש הממשלה, פעם היו המשפחות שלך פליטים ואתה היית פליט והתנהגו אליהם בצורה כזאת שאתה מתנהג אלינו? אני בן אדם, רק הצבע שלי שחור, בגלל זה אתה מתנהג אליי ככה? בגלל אני שחור? מה ההבדל ביני ובינכם? אני בן אדם ואתם בני אדם. אנחנו רק מבקשים שתיתנו לנו להיות פה. אנחנו מבקשים מקלט.
لو يسمى زيت كمين ارجع ما يمراحي وكمين دولنا كنجزيز حسبي صارنا كنجزيز صحابي سقلبي يا تسقلبي والله لا 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 عبيت 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 صرت لوحدك بشرا يعطي تسلمتك وجهك الحرب من النوى زي بالله زي ذاك النصر زي بالله ما كنت زي ملك الحبلة عليه السلام حبرا الله الله
לך מכות בכוח, ובאת, אני רוצה freedom, אני רוצה הפגנה, כמו שבכל העולם.
The previous Sunday, a group of 130 refugees left the open-air prison Israel has newly constructed in the Negev desert and began marching towards Jerusalem. After marching for 2 days through Be'er Sheva and spending the night in a small kibbutz inspired by their actions, they made it to Jerusalem, only to be met with the Israeli police. They were all arrested. In the days since, more groups have left the facility, also marching towards the center of the country. They were also rounded up and arrested. The new jail called Hulot is the largest prison for refugees in the developed world, as the Real News reported in the past. Following international condemnation, the Israeli government decided to open the jail, saying it's not really a prison. However, refugees must sign in 3 times a day and must remain there at night. Human Rights Watch issued the following statement. Under international law and United Nations guidelines, Israel should detain asylum seekers only as a last resort, on an individual basis, not as a group, and as a strictly necessary and proportionate measure to achieve a legitimate aim, such as security. The Israeli authorities seem hell-bent on finding new ways to detain these people, said Jerry Simpson, senior refugee researcher at Human Rights Watch. Officials should drop this charade of pretending that these extensive restrictions are non-detention and genuinely release the asylum seekers in line with the High Court ruling.
Sorry,